Oh, this is meth.
Jesus Christ.
Well, I guess I'll just go ahead and smoke all this meth.
While I was walking down the street when out the corner of my eye I saw a meth dealer approaching me. He said, "I never seen a ginger who looks so all alone. Could you use a little ecstasy? If you pay the right price, the dispenser will be nice and you won't have to think about it twice." I said, "I'm such a pretty young thing, why do I do this to myself?" I looked at the mirror and it said, "Well, there ain't no rest for the crackheads. Meth don't grow on trees. I got Gamepass to blame, Phil Spencer to hate. Ain't nothing in this world for free. No, I can't stop now, I can't hold back though, you know, I wish I could. There ain't no rest for the meth heads until we put the pipe for good." First off, shout out to Gundam, homie of the channel. As many of you are aware, I was down on my luck, not 100% there, and for some reason Gundam decides to 3D print and paint and sculpt an entire custom Goku as a tribute to the late great Akira Toriyama, and he had it shipped directly to me. I mean, just look at how beautiful this piece is. I am one fortunate ass motherfucker. It just goes to show, I guess some people haven't forgotten Daddy Frit exists, even though I am in jail. And that's only proven true when one of the top comments in the newest Dreamcastguy video is a comment referring to how excited someone is that I'll be making a response. When one of the top comments on your own YouTube channel is somebody expressing how excited they are to see another YouTuber dismantle you, you know you've fallen off plus L plus ratio.
You do care!
The truth is, you guys need me. Other people are simply not mean enough to Dreamcastguy. They try their absolute hardest, but unfortunately they have morals. And luckily for you, unlike the rest, I'm not interested in sitting here and responding to Dreamcastguy for over 30 minutes. I don't know how anybody could stretch a Dreamcastguy video to that length. And here I'm just trying to use all the spare time I have to make parody songs that everybody hates. Either way, we'll get to Crater Face in just a second. First, we have other pressing matters to discuss, and I'm pretty sure you're all very much well aware of the fact that Black Ops 6 was just officially announced to be coming to Game Pass, thus solidifying the rumors as true, which could quite possibly mean the next Doom game really will be shown at the Xbox Showcase. Some pretty exciting stuff here, if you like COD, of course. If you're like me, it has to be on a service like Game Pass to even be bothered playing it. And well, there's not much more information on that matter other than it's official, it's happening, and as you could imagine, PlayStation fanboys have not been able to shut up, nor the gaming media, and this is what I love about both of them, especially the gaming media. They're always preaching about the dangers of Game Pass, how it cannibalizes sales, how it will be the downfall of Xbox and gaming altogether, and they try their absolute hardest into gaslighting you into thinking they're referring to all gaming subscription services, but no, they're not. If that was the case, where are the videos on Ubisoft Plus, EA Access, PS Plus, or whatever the thing is that Nintendo has? Where are the videos talking about those subscription services and how harmful they are if that's really the narrative we're going with? Oh, they're nowhere to be found? It's just Game Pass that's targeted? Odd. Very sus. It's almost as if Sony has plants in the industry and pays people to put down their competitor service. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if in the future we find out that's the case in some court documents, because the way the media portrays Game Pass, you'd figure it's the only evil subscription service. Game Pass is the big evil, and because of that, all they can do is talk shit after weeks of saying Call of Duty wouldn't be on Game Pass, and that's the best part. It's proof the media throws shit at the wall hoping something sticks, and oftentimes it sticks. And thus that is where a lot of the narratives for PlayStation fanboys are created. It's what they roll with for a long time. It's thanks to journalists. I mean, just look at the thought process of many of them. Here's one from an account you're all very much familiar with, the Red Dragon.
All right, you look like a future
PDF file.
on this picture, number one.
Who 12 years ago posted this video talking about why you should rent video games, and he puts that in all caps. Really has to emphasize it. Let you know, renting games is based, it's fine. What happened 12 years later? Well, 12 years later, Microsoft decides to have the best rental service in all of gaming, and now all of a sudden, massive attitude change.
Funny seeing Xbox pretending I read you breaking news. That was a complete and utter surprise, that mania, and no one else expected that Call of Duty Black Ops 6 is coming to Game Pass. Except this was literally announced in 2022. Rehashing news from literally years ago down bad. It would have been newsworthy if Xbox did what they usually do, which is lie and cheat on their profits or change the terms.
He's a fan.
Oh, he said the quiet part out loud by accident, but you hear that, guys? The only time anything is newsworthy to the Red Dragon is if it's Xbox lying, failing, or doing poorly. That's the only time the Red Dragon will consider anything from Xbox as newsworthy. And that right there is the Xbox tax. You ever hear him wanting to report anything positively? No, of course you don't, because the man is dead set on solely reporting bad things about Xbox. And it's funny too, because he's like, well, this isn't news. You're all shocked. Nobody's surprised. Well, that's funny. I'm wondering why you, alongside the rest of the gaming media, 2 to 3 weeks back were pushing this narrative that Microsoft was debating on whether they should even put Call of Duty on Game Pass. Hell, some of you said it wouldn't be on Game Pass for another 3 to 4 years. Now here we are. You were completely wrong, and chances are you'll most likely be completely wrong again. Yes, Black Ops 6 coming to Game Pass this soon is indeed a surprise, especially with the way your side was framing everything. Oh, but it doesn't stop there. The Red Dragon went on a rampage on Twitter. He could not stand the news of Xbox players getting to play Black Ops 6 on Game Pass, even though it doesn't change his life in any sort of significant or meaningful way.
Call of Duty Black Ops 6 will be on last-gen consoles. Xbox is desperate. That is all the help they can get.
No, Black Ops 6 is on last gen because you ponies have not bought enough PS5s. Half of you are still PS4 owners, at the very least 48%. If there's anybody to blame, it's literally your side. You can't make this shit up. I mean, if Microsoft is desperate for releasing COD on last gen, what does that make PlayStation for releasing Horizon and God of War on last gen? This year, there will be more next-gen only titles on Xbox than on PlayStation. And we're calling Xbox desperate. I mean, you can't reason with these folks. They've been pre-programmed to hate everything Xbox related, put every little thing they do down, even if it means contradicting yourself. They don't care. They don't have time to process it. They can only post, tweet, farm engagement, and move on. Even if the post doesn't make any f***ing sense. I mean, for starters, this game was in development before the acquisition. So how's anything Microsoft's fault? What, you want them to cancel the last gen ports that money has already been invested in by Activision? You're stupid, Red Dragon. How anybody has given you a platform is beyond me. You're f***ing retarded.
How bad is it when Xbox fans are celebrating because Microsoft intends to keep their promise? When you've been lied to so much that you're happy when promises are kept. Call of Duty Black Ops 6 reportedly set to launch straight into Game Pass.
Jeez, my God. Phil, what did you do to this guy? Did you f*** his wife? Is that what you did, Phil Spencer? Did you f*** the Red Dragon's wife? Husband? Plushie?
Oh, excuse me. Oh, did you bang my wife? Huh? Did you bang my whore wife?
Did you take a shit in his cereal? What did you do, Phil? This guy is now trying to make keeping promises seem like a bad thing. No, it means something significantly when a company can keep their promise, Dragon. Because if you haven't noticed, more than half of these companies can't even do that. So when Microsoft says they're gonna do something and they do it, yes, that is cause for some minor type of celebration, I guess. It's not oftentimes you see corporations go through with what they said they would do. Let's not pretend like PlayStation has kept every single one of their promises. So when Sony's promises are kept, you too will be throwing a goddamn banquet. We know you. What is your problem? What is this guy's deal? There's virtually nothing negative one can say about this situation. He gets to play Black Ops 6. It's not being taken away from his console. And now more people get to play it because it'll be on Game Pass. And this COD's been in development for 4 years. And Microsoft isn't doing anything to screw over their competitors from COD. What are you upset about? Until you can actually give people a legitimate reason to be as pissed off as you, we're just gonna leave you in your display case to point and laugh at.
Anyone playing Call of Duty Black Ops 6 through Game Pass will be blocked. Respect Game and Peeve and crossplay will be turned all the way off. PS5.
PS5.
Well, thanks, Ice-T. We respect your opinion very much. But I'm not exactly sure how you're going to be able to block millions of people at once. Then again, I have seen the most dedicated of PlayStation fanboys block over 10,000 people in one click, so it's not completely impossible. I wish you luck, my fellow pony. I hope everything at the stables are going all right, but at the very least, you should be happy you're not being left out of playing Black Ops 6 on your PS5. God damn, though. Some of these ponies are so ungrateful.
What's up, gamers? Dreamcastguy here, and today we're talking about Xbox because it just feels like...
How many times have I covered Dreamcastguy in the last 5 to 6 days? This is too much. Well, fortunately, I'm not going to sit here and try and stretch it out to a 35-minute long video desperate for ad revenue. So let's make this quick, Dreamcastguy. Get it off your chest. After being completely wrong about Call of Duty not coming to Game Pass, and you mentioning how stupid Microsoft is for thinking that was going to happen, explain to us the sudden change of heart. Why is it stupid that they're going to put it on Game Pass now? And don't even try to blame the meth, okay? My barber has done my hair correct multiple times while on that shit.
Microsoft is attempting a very dangerous gamble right now. Just a few minutes ago, they announced that Call of Duty is coming to Xbox Game Pass. And while people are initially extremely excited, I think this comes with some goods and some bads. And I want to discuss why this is such an interesting experiment that could lead to the death of Xbox.
Is it really a gamble, though? I mean, Call of Duty is guaranteed to sell regardless, especially since they're putting it on last-gen consoles as well. Putting the game on Game Pass is more viewed as an extra source of revenue. Those subscriptions that will rack up so people can play it is beneficial to Microsoft. It's really hard to find a lose-lose situation here. It's not a strong gamble in the slightest. They purchased COD because, well, it's a well-known moneymaker. Anybody who owns Call of Duty is more than likely going to be the highest earning gaming company. A gamble would have been if they decided to not port it to all platforms and solely keep it on Xbox. Now that would have been a gamble.
For the last couple of years, it feels like Microsoft is kind of afraid to brag. You know, like when you actually consider it, Nintendo will talk about their games selling tens of millions of copies. Of course, we see stuff like Sony really loves to do a victory lap and talk about the fact that they have 55 million PS5 sold. But Microsoft, even when they do release a good game or do something actually cool like Hi-Fi Rush, they don't take the time to actually flex. This, to me, is maybe one of the biggest Xbox flexes I've ever seen because they're announcing that the next Call of Duty is going to be on Game Pass before we've even actually seen it. Like,
you can tell Dreamcastguy has never flexed about anything in his life. He doesn't have a reason to, because what Microsoft is doing here is not a flex. They're simply announcing a product to their consumers for their subscription service. It's not a f***ing flex. It's just business. Only Dreamcastguy with his console war mentality views this as a flex. No, this is Microsoft letting people know, hey, sub to Game Pass now because this is coming. Nobody cares if a company flexes. What people care about is when you tell us where the game is gonna be, when we can get it, and how much it is.
Even if you don't particularly like Call of Duty, I definitely think there's been more bad Call of Duties than good Call of Duties, but undeniably...
You know, as a tourist myself, I can't confirm that. But I know for sure Dreamcastguy I also can't confirm that because he is definitely a tourist when it comes to Call of Duty. I mean, the guy literally thought map packs were still a thing. That lets you know how out of touch he is with the franchise. I'm not really sure you can go off his word on that one.
Now, let's talk math. So, Xbox internally, during this big court case they had last year with the FTC, they talked a lot about how they're going to make their money back. If you're purchasing a company like Activision for $70 billion, how do you even regrow that amount of lost cash?
Regrow? Sorry, I took a bong with regrow? The f are you talking about, Dreamcast guy? Money doesn't grow? What, you think watering your tree is where the money comes from? You think it sprouts out of tree branches? No, the word you're looking for is recuperate. How is Microsoft going to recuperate the cost of purchasing Activision? Now, I'm not going to get all Scott Steiner with you on the math, but it's really quite simple. You recuperate what you spent over the course of a few years. It's not going to happen overnight. Call of Duty will pay for itself over time. I really don't know how we're asking such a stupid question. It's obvious. So if you want to do the math, go ahead. But the answer is like so blatantly obvious, I'm surprised you're even bothering to ask. You're really milking this one and trying to pad out the video. You know, the best part is he goes on to read somebody else's tweet, pointing out how many subscriptions they would need in Game Pass to recover the lost sales in COD. But here's the thing, COD is still going to be sold, regardless. They are not relying on Game Pass to recover the costs of Call of Duty. That's ridiculous and infeasible to do in such a short time frame. That is why they are still selling COD. The sales of COD, the in-game microtransactions, the battle passes, all of that will generate infinitely more money than having the game on Game Pass. But putting it on Game Pass will ensure some growth. Why are we even having this discussion? Black Ops 6 being on Game Pass cannot do enough damage to its sales because the game is on other platforms that will not have it on a subscription service. I mean, oh my god, why are we asking such stupid questions with such obvious answers in front of them? Only in a hypothetical setting that you've created in your head where Black Ops 6 is solely on Game Pass would you be able to say this would kill Microsoft, but we're not even close to being in such a hypothetical setting. With the game still being readily available to purchase, Game Pass is simply not going to cripple Xbox. This conversation is so stupid. Just let's go to his closing statements. I'm not going to sit here and stretch this. And at the same time, I'm not here to shill for Game Pass. I'm just here to present some basic logic to an illogical person who's so hell-bent on hating a service that has done virtually nothing to anyone, because the obsession with Game Pass and how big of a talking point it's been as the downfall doesn't really feel legit. Every single person that presents these arguments does so with bad faith, and you wonder, what is their obsession?
This is their final test. This is their big oomph, their push, their chance to say, hey, if you put the biggest game franchise in the world on Xbox Game Pass, what happens? Do we make our money back? I guess we're gonna find out.
Of course, they're going to make their money back. They're still selling. I'm done. I can't with this dude. I can't with most of the people who've made it their obligation to negatively report on Game Pass. They all seem to think putting this game on Game Pass is going to cost Microsoft all of their money when it's still being sold, and not just on Xbox. Like, that is such a huge missing piece of the puzzle that they've tucked away under their couch, hoping nobody would notice. At the end of the day, who even cares about the financial side of it? You're a gamer, not an analyst, not a shareholder, not a board of directors. Buy it, rent it, do whatever the hell you want. We have options here. If that's a negative to you, then you've got a problem, and one that Game Pass can't fix. Seriously, with the way these guys talk about Game Pass, it's like they check under their beds every night for it. A bunch of weirdos who are praying for the failure of the service and have been for like well over 6+ years. Meanwhile, it just keeps adding content and growing. You're fighting one of the most pointless battles in video game history. Fucking losers. Anyway, like, comment, share, and subscribe if you so choose to. With that being said, Well, I'll see you in the next one. Whoa!
Free Congo sucks ass.